Welcome back, guys. And since you were last with us with our very surprising 3-1 victory over Barcelona there, we have played quite a bit of the season. We are now into December, heading towards January. And, well, I'd love to come back to you guys and say, just like last season, we're flying at the top of the league. Things are going well and smooth. And things aren't going well and smooth. I feel like maybe selling Casemiro and Varane at the same time, just relying mainly on younger players, isn't sort of panning out. I was kind of hoping it to. Yeah, we're struggling a little bit. That on top of the consistent injuries, which we will get into. But I thought, what better place to start off the episode than just a quick review on the mixed bag of results that is Manchester United. That we've been up to since that last episode there. As you left us, we did have that victory there, and things kind of went well. You know, we won the Carabao Cup, we won in the league. We did go and beat Dortmund, 2 wins in a row in the Champions League. Barcelona, Dortmund, we thought, oh, great. Then we lost to Villa, and quite convincingly. Then we beat Slavia Bratislava. I thought, great, cool, that's, again, absolutely. Then all of a sudden we lost to Wolves, and we were bad there. Then we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup against Liverpool there, pretty convincingly. So we took out our anger on Leicester there in the Premier League. And then it kind of, for a period, it just went downhill from here. We did get absolutely battered. And there's no way to deny it, battered by AC Milan. Every time they came at us, they just absolutely obliterated us. We did manage to recover it for one game against Arsenal, scraping that 1-0 victory there, which I'm pretty sure was, yeah, in the 90th minute there. So we dragged it out right at the end there. Then was an international break, so I tried to get some morale going. Then we returned, and to be fair, we had a tough fixture list when you're looking at AC Milan, Arsenal, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Manchester City. And realistically, we only actually won one of them. We lost all the others. We did come back and get defeated by Chelsea quite convincingly. Real Madrid then, again, 2 Champions League games in a row, absolutely battered us. And then we lost convincingly to Manchester City there. So all was very, very worrying there. After this period, we weren't doing well in the Champions League. We'd been knocked out the Carabao Cup, and we are still definitely not in a title race. I mean, quite frankly, we were lucky that against Brentford, obviously a lower team. We then struggled to a draw against Norwich, and we have managed to recover it back a little bit here. But it's safe to say this mixed bag of results, this leaking of goals and not winning games, you'd think we were a better team than last season, but I think maybe I've sold myself short in certain areas, like experience and probably on the wings. Where that does leave us in the Champions League group stage or league table, whatever you call us, is we are on 12 points, won 4, lost 2. And when I say this year we are not in a title race, I mean flat out, we are not in a title race. We are not even in the Champions League positions. We do find ourselves in fifth position, 2 points off the 4th place, but also 2 points off 3 points off completely being outside of Europe there. But when you just look at the top of the table there, we are 15 points behind Liverpool after 17 games already. We've already lost 4 games this season. So yeah, it's safe to say I don't think this season is going to be quite the repeat of last season. I think we might have to use this as a learning season for the youngsters, because quite frankly, like I said, things haven't been going smooth since you're last with us. Those mixed bag of results. Maybe in the second half of the season we can pick things up there. So this is where I'm now going to pile on a little bit of excuses to why we've struggled there. Because obviously we have got Thomas Muller out injured there. Jadon Sancho is now injured. Rashford's been out for a couple of months. Mason Mount's been out injured. We've had suspensions to Diame. Hoyland's been out injured. It's just been one thing after another. We've never had a fully fit squad at this moment in time. And as you can see as well, a not so familiar face in the starting lineup. This is partly due to injuries, Anthony is actually finding himself playing more and more, and the sharper he's getting, and as you can see, his sharpness is going up, which means he's 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 doing better. He's started to play more, man. I'm starting to enjoy actually using him. Maybe I could have got a bit more out of him last season. Again, as I hold my hands up, that one's probably on me. I have been finding that Martinez has been losing his position in the starting level, usually for Diamande, but he went and got himself suspended in the last game there, which we did win, by the way, with 10 men. We did claw that out. The midfield, I can't say. I mean, we've looked a bit weak, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, people are saying just opposite's final third entries, so they've been able to get for us through the middle there, even though we've got a central midfielder and a ball-winning midfielder there. I am maybe looking at changing that round a little bit to him a bit more freedom there, or have him come back maybe and give him out a bit more freedom to move around for him to close up that gap there. And then going into January, we have got a little bit to spend there, about £19 million. There's a few transfers potentially coming in. I think we've got a free transfer coming in as well, and there is one out as well. So coming into the club, who joins us next season. Again, I brought him in because he was a free transfer. He is only 18-year-old. Here's a free transfer. He can join, maybe got on loan. Again, develop for the future of this football club. Even if we don't see him, the club will. And then we've got this guy, which I did mention before, who is set to join us in January. And quite frankly, I think he's going to get more game time than I think probably initially expected, because that midfield is open to changes in there. And I can absolutely see him playing in that position. Absolutely. No reason why he wouldn't get game time there. The out is of Harry Maguire. It wasn't talking to us. He wasn't sulking. So he is set to join Monaco for, I can't remember, it wasn't much, about £8 or £9 million there. So he'll go in January. So we will look to at least bring in a centre-back to replace him. And then another welcomed addition to the squad in January will be Valentin Barco, who on the left-hand side, again with that attacking talent. It's a good job I've sort of left him at in Argentina just for one season, because he's developing into quite the player on the left-hand side there. So he will join us in January to bring more energy and more of an outlet on that left-hand side there. You've got the likes of Anthony Martial, who I don't want to be here anymore. Palestri's not really played at all. We could have that issue with Garnacho, who is threatening to leave, because we tried to agree a new contract there, but he just didn't want to know. The amount he was asking for was, to be honest, I just didn't want to agree with it. I thought it was silly. And the whole point is to bring those wages down, not up, whilst developing this team. So I'm hoping it won't develop into too much of an issue, but it may do. So if that's so, we will have to react and bring in some players there. So I am expecting a sort of semi-busy January, maybe bringing 1, 2, maybe 3 players, but obviously more looking at moving people like Anthony Martial on. But now we've done a recap on what we've been up to since the Barcelona game. Obviously, as I said, we are a mixed bag there, and we're going to have to find some consistency in these results, because at the moment, we're not even going to get top 4. And quite frankly, I'm about 20-25% worried I'm going to get sacked at this point, being at the Carabao Cup, not being in the top 4 in the Champions League. I'm kind of getting a little bit worried that if I don't add some consistency and I don't get top 4, we may not see the end of this rebuild. Let's not wait any longer. Let's go and hopefully beat Everton. There has been a slight tweak to the formation there. Obviously, I have took off the overlapping a little bit, and I have upped the intensity. We played that like that the other day, and we seem to have done well. So I have upped the intensity there. Bring the likes of Anthony and Garnacho on the left, as obviously no Sancho, Rashford still coming back from an injury there. Diamande is out, so Tar comes in for him in there. And the usual Wan-Bissaka and Shaw. So I do have 2 basic aims for this game. No suspensions and no injuries. Quite frankly, yes, we need to win this game. But if we can come out this game with no suspensions, no injuries, the way things are going recently, I'll take that as a victory in itself. But I can honestly say we are 30 minutes into the game, and this is the first highlight of the game. There's really not been anything to talk about this far. I mean, as you can see, just looking at the stats, it's been a dead game. I promise you that when I do play games, we are exciting to watch. We do score goals, we do play games. But it appears that every time I turn this camera on, this team decide to choose then to just come out with the most boring games ever and give me nothing to talk about how we're playing. So we are fast approaching already half time with that basically one highlight in the entire game. Well, we are at the end at the quickest first half I have ever played on Football Manager, with literally nothing to talk about. I think I'm gonna have to change things up a bit because we need to be doing more because we're literally doing nothing here. Hopefully a little bit of a kick up the arse there, and hopefully this team will start actually producing some chances and doing a bit better there. Obviously I have took... Are we going to do something from the kickoff there? Can Mount do something? Ooh. I mean, it's a highlight. It's a highlight. Just clap that one because it's a highlight. Let's face it, after 47 minutes, I'll take just the fact that it was a highlight. That'll do for me. So this is, again, one of very few highlights here. I have put us on attacking. Hopefully that'll encourage them to go a little bit further forward there and attack. Obviously, I have took the attack on overlap on each wing, but the fact that they are wing backs would sort of encourage them to do that anyway, one would hope. Garnacho's in here. Can he make the right decision? Pass it to anyone? No, he just thought he'd just go and take it all by himself by the looks of it. He had options in there and chose a selfish way. It is followed up by a corner. Can one of the big fellas head that in? Tars won that there. Can Anthony do something with that? Ooh, bit of a soft pass there. But at least we're warming up in the game finally. So we have brought in a few changes there. Hoyland has been come off for Canate there. Mount has been pushed up a little bit further there, with Ericsson coming in for Fernandez. Because great, he's been sort of doing well lately. A few more changes as well. That Mount being moved up was short-lived. I have now brought him off. Moved Ericsson back up top. And brought Guista. And Guista onto the pitch there with Palestri and Delors coming on. Hopefully a bit of energy there. I feel like I do this way too much lately, but I feel like I'm at the end of another game where I am apologising for the very, very, very miserable game. And apparently, 0-0. It's going to be a 0-0 with next to no highlights, barely any chances. I asked for two things. I asked for two things from this game. No injuries, no suspensions. Two things is all I asked for from this game. I don't ask for much, just two things. And we couldn't even do that. Wan-Bissaka has now, I think it's like the 92nd minute of 93 minutes. And Wan-Bissaka has now been injured. I don't really know. Just stick these back here because... Oh, come on. I mean, Wan-Bissaka is now being injured there. So that's just another injury to add to the list. This is a season. I am running out of patience with this season. Don't concede a penalty. Do not concede a penalty at this point in time. The game's been boring enough as it is. We've let the fans down and the viewers down again, Man United. Seems to be a theme at the moment in real life, and I'm trying to be on here, so make sure it doesn't continue on here. But every single time I turn this camera on, it's just rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. But that's the struggle we've been dealing with this past season. Massively inconsistent. We now may even find ourselves even further behind the top four there. Now, let's just go and have a look at the inevitable. All that for 3 days. All that for 3 days. I mean, couldn't he have played on? I mean, what was actually wrong with him? A tight hamstring, all right, maybe not. This just adds to the meat. I mean, let's face it, other than the first 2 months of the season, but even then there was a draw. I think we've had 1 month of consistency in the entire season. The rest is just filled with inconsistency. Drawing with teams like Everton, Norwich, Fulham in there. It's just losing to Wolves to add to that. We have been excessively inconsistent, and where we find ourselves 5th in the division, quite a bit, few points off the top 4. and a lot of points off the top of the league. I think it's safe to say we will not be retaining our title this season. But the future is bright. It's not all doom and gloom. If you look at the ability of our players there, going off ability alone, 24, 20, well, 21, 24, 25, 20, 26, 20. Yeah, there's a few older ones there, but obviously you've got Rasmus, you've got Kanate, you've got Delors, you've got Hannibal, players who are going to be the future, Jadon Sancho. I mean, this guy is out on loan, and he's at the top of our potential list there. When you go off potential, for example, 21, 20, 21, 25, 20, 20. You guys get the you guys get the gist. The potential of this team going forward is absolutely fantastic. These players can be here for quite a few years to come. They will all develop together, ideally, and all become world-class players living up to their potential. So there we have it, guys. Thank you for coming back for the December recap. Obviously, we did get through the first transfer window. I played a good chunk because we are rebuilding this team. It's not just going to be couple of games. We are going to do big chunks and sort of see how we're developing in stages of a season, rather than just a few games. It turns out this next stage was a rather poor development stage, it appears. But thank you very much, guys, for coming out and watching the latest recap on our Manchester United rebuild. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the episode, leave a comment down below. And guys, I'll be back probably just after the end of January there, when hopefully we've got Boca integrated into the squad, probably hopefully playing some games there. We might need him here. And then obviously hopefully we replace Maguire there. And if we've got a little bit of money, maybe we can go and bring in another attacking midfielder, depending on who else we sell. But we are, again, pretty much like the season. I think it's just a season of mixed bags. I may as well change the title and everything. Because why not? Probably gonna have a mixed bag of transfers in January. But I will be back right at the end of it to let you guys know that hopefully this next phase, I'm going to keep doing this. This next phase has been far better than the last one. We have improved the squad. Everybody's happier. Hopefully, we're back in the top 4. But guys, if you don't want to miss it and you do want to see if we are back in the top 4 of the Champions League and see what other probably bad transfers I make in January, and then guys, don't forget, I'll see you in the next one.